Hi, my name's Ovidiu. I'm a cinematographer based in Bucharest, Romania, and this is my GNARBOX review for KitPlus. Hope you enjoy. So today we're going to be talking about backing up your files. As you know, not all projects can afford a DIT in their budget, so sometimes the responsibility of having the files unloaded falls upon the DP or the assistant. Sometimes you can't even budget an assistant. Of course, you can always just pull out your trusty laptop, a card reader, some drives, and start backing up. But unless you have a dedicated software, which is usually pretty expensive, to check your files for you, you're just gonna have to go on trust. And that's not really good enough for professional productions. As a DP, I really don't wanna be doing that. I hate the responsibility of having to unload the footage and check it and put it on multiple hard drives. It's also really time consuming and takes away from what I need to be doing as a DP. Framing, lighting, flirting with makeup and hair. Sometimes you just have to do it. Luckily, there's a solution for that. This is the GNARBOX. It's weatherproof, water resistant, and super rugged. GNARBOX is a super straightforward backup tool that you can use in the field or on any production you might have. So let's take a look at the device itself. First of all, it's really well built. It's got a rubbery feel and it has a really great grip. Like, you can't really drop this. On one side, it has a Thunderbolt 3 or USB-C port, which is used for charging or storage or using a network adapter, an Ethernet port. On the other side, covered by a port protector, we have another Thunderbolt 3/USB-C port, an SD card reader, and a micro HDMI port. Initially, GNARBOX was a successful Kickstarter, and it was designed as a simple device where you would just take your SD card, put it in here, start backing up, put it in your pocket, and forget about it for a while. Improving on the original design and listening to customer feedback, they've designed the GNARBOX 2.0, which is what we're talking about today. Since it's basically a small computer, it will draw up more power than a typical power bank can deliver. So you do need to use this power adapter that they provide to charge your GNARBOX. Or you can buy the dual battery charger that they offer. This adapter can output up to 35 watts. GNARBOX is pretty much compatible with anything you might want to throw at it. With the proper Type-C or Thunderbolt cables to USB 3, you can pretty much connect anything. I've successfully connected numerous third-party card readers, the CFast reader from Blackmagic, my S/S card reader for the Alexa footage, and even an external hard drive. It's got enough juice to power that as well. So let's talk about the process. It will take about a minute to load up, but once it's done loading, you can just plug in your card, close the trapdoor. Now it's going to ask me what I want to do with the files. The GNARBOX features an internal SSD. You can either back up now, which takes your files and copies them onto the GNARBOX SSD, or you can do advanced backup, which if you have additional drives connected to the GNARBOX, or if you're home and you're connected to your personal network attached storage, you can actually copy your files there as well. And you can also do an MD5 checksum, which checks the integrity of the files. A cool thing that you can do, especially if you shoot on Sony or other cameras that create folders within folders, is you can use flattened folders, which means it's going to take every file format and put it in one folder corresponding with the file format. If you're shooting on the go, you can do smart backup, which means you back up the card once, and every time you keep backing up the card, it will just back up the new files. Once you've copied the files, there's a number of things that you can do. You can preview files, you can get the files ready for video playback, which means the GNARBOX will render out some proxies for you so that you can easily transfer them to your mobile device and play them back there for your director or whatnot for dailies. Another really cool thing is that it can do transcoding, which is great news for Panasonic owners or for drone owners, because as you know, that Hef-C codec is not very friendly with your computer. So what you can do is shoot your footage, start transcoding, and by the time you get home, you have ProRes files ready to edit. Once you get home or in your office, wherever your storage is, you can use an Ethernet dongle to connect the GNARBOX to your local network. You can also do that wirelessly. You'll get better transfer speeds to your local network storage. It's a Type-C/Thunderbolt 3 to USB 3 adapter. And you can use pretty much any device that has a USB 3 connector. In the app, GNARBOX will automatically find your NAS. You can back up the whole content of your GNARBOX or just select folders. One thing worth mentioning is that in order to use the GNARBOX, you need to connect your mobile device directly into the Wi-Fi hotspot created by the GNARBOX, which means that limits your internet unless you use mobile data. Once you connect the GNARBOX to a Wi-Fi network, you can switch to home mode, which will let you connect to the GNARBOX via the local Wi-Fi connection. The GNARBOX is basically a tiny computer. It's got a quad-core CPU, 4GB of RAM, and it comes in 3 sizes: 256GB, 512, and 1TB, priced accordingly. It's incredibly portable at 375 grams, and it's not much larger than a phone, but it is thicker. It's so much more than just a backup device. Using the micro HDMI port, you can connect an external display where you can preview your video files or your photos. The device will run on a battery for about 6 hours, but that really depends on what you do with it. But for regular backup purposes, you can get up to 6 hours on one battery. I strongly recommend getting a second battery because you might forget the device on, or you might forget to charge your battery. Once you get the files on your GNARBOX, you can then access the files just like any regular drive. Just connect it to your computer or laptop and it will act as an external drive. I've had the GNARBOX for a few months, and while obviously skeptical at first, we would back up on the laptop and also use the GNARBOX to copy our files. But after a certain period of time, seeing that we never actually needed that laptop backup and we could successfully use the GNARBOX as a backup device, I now fully trust it, and I always take it with me on productions. This tool is also really great for photographers. You can actually import raw files and it will see them, and using apps like Lightroom Mobile or LumaFusion, you can actually edit raw photos on your iPad or phone straight from the GNARBOX, which I think is a really great feature, and you also get to keep your files as a backup here. The GNARBOX will take pretty much anything except for RE RAW, Red RAW, Blackmagic RAW, pretty much any type of RAW format. Unfortunately, that's not supported yet, but here's hoping. Other than that, it will support most cameras and audio recorders. One thing to note is that for some reason, the internal SD card reader will only go up to about 90 megabytes per second, regardless of your SD card's data transfer rate. So if you want better speeds, you're gonna have to get an external SD card reader, or buy a Type-C cable for your existing card reader, so it's not such a big deal. I usually shoot with the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, which records on SSDs as well. So what do I do if I shoot on an SSD? I actually back it up to a second SSD just like this one, using the GNARBOX. So it's a pretty good idea to back up your drives. Navigating the device is quite simple. You only have 4 buttons which power on the device, back up things, but most of the work will be done in the app. So here's the GNARBOX, and I thought I'd do some experiments. What if we plug in a hub? As you can see right here, the GNARBOX sees them. So with this many devices, what we can do is just go to advanced. So here's my preset for this review. I'm gonna want to back up my files to this SSD drive, which I will edit from, and to this hard drive, which is just a backup. For safety, I'm gonna put it on my local NAS as well. And there we go. We have all the sources here in the app. So now I'm connected to my home Wi-Fi, and so is the GNARBOX, and I can control it without having to connect directly to it. GNARBOX has teamed up with Dropbox, and what you can actually do is move your project to your Dropbox folder. Once you do that and set up your Dropbox account, you can actually upload the files to the cloud using Dropbox. So in theory, you can finish your backup, and then if you have an internet connection, you can upload your files to your editor or your client or what have you. That's pretty great. So remember, you can't put a price on the safety of your files, and this is just one solution for your backup needs that saves you a lot of time and gives you peace of mind. This was my GNARBOX 2.0 review for KitPlus. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.